Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Human Rights Council in Geneva praises the Sultanate's achievements in child rights fields during the last 4 years. The Sultanate and Saudi Arabia review the current issues and development in the region. And experts in the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons determined that mustard gas is used by the Daesh group during battles in Syria. Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. The National Human Rights Commission took part in the 23rd Human Rights Council Universal Period Review Working Group in the Swiss capital, Geneva. His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Mohammed As-Saidi, Minister of Legal Affairs, presided the Sultanate's achievements during the last 4 years. It is worth mentioning that the Sultanate presented its second report during this session. It focused on recommendations, voluntary commitments accepted by the Sultanate during the discussion of its first national report in January 2011. It also focused on the progress achieved in human rights in all civil, political and social fields, and the measures taken by the Sultanate in order to promote the human rights by seeking the joint, more human rights-related international conventions, in addition to the Sultanate's role in combating family violence and preserving child rights. Relations between the Sultanate and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia were reviewed, and current issues and development in the regional and international arenas were discussed at official talks of His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, when he received His Excellency Adel bin Ahmed Al Jubair, Foreign Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Al Jubair praised the deep brotherly relations and joint cooperation between the two countries in all fields. His Excellency Adel bin Ahmed Al Jubair, Foreign Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, said that he had held constructive talks on many matters of concern to both countries and the region, including the situation in Syria, Yemen, and how to concentrate and strengthen cooperation between the Gulf countries and ways of finding security, stability and peace in the Middle East region. He also said that they had talks on distinctive and historical bilateral relations between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Sultanate of Oman, including strengthening them in all fields. He also said that two countries had the same vision and that related to targeted goals, and the talks were on how to reach those goals and the best ways to achieve them. His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, said that they had agreed that there are joint goals in all places of current conflict. They also agreed to look forward to the future and to not stay arrested in the past. He also said that they did not target any stand of any particular country of Arab coalition in Yemen in that related to the premise of the Omani embassy in Sana'a, but the stand was to abide by the international law. However, Sana'a was at the war zone at that particular time, and the brotherly relations which tie the Sultanate, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the Gulf Cooperation Council countries and all Arab coalition countries are bigger than occurrences that go here and there. His Excellency, the Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, said that the Sultanate exerts diplomatic efforts in both Yemen and Syria and believes that all parties, one way or another, which have presence or contact with these matters are seeking peaceful resolutions based on diplomacy. He also said it is important, in his opinion, for brothers in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to listen to the Sultanate's point of view of what he heard in Damascus from His Excellency President Bashar al-Assad and the Syrian government, and what takes place now behind closed doors among all countries taking part in the Vienna Conference, which is known as the Vienna Mechanism. All these efforts are important for such meeting to take place, which will pre-schedule before he went to Damascus, but increasing situations made it more important. His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, the Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, said applications were handed, the questions were answered, and they are now within the context of study at the Commission of the European Union. The Ministry is following up through the Sultanate's embassy in Belgium and through representatives of the European Union here in the Sultanate, and thus he hoped it to be agreed upon by the European Union, as the Sultanate is considered one of these countries which meets the requirements for obtaining what is called the Schengen. According to a report by the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW, chemical weapons experts have determined that mustard gas was used in the Syrian town where the Daesh group insurgents were battling another group. A confidential October 29th report by the OPCW concluded that at least 2 people were exposed to sulfur mustard in the town of Maria, north of Aleppo, on August 21st. It is very likely that the effects of sulfur mustard resulted in the death of a baby. The report did not mention Daesh group as the fact-finding mission was not mandated to assign blame, but diplomatic sources said the chemicals had been used in the clashes between Daesh and another rebel group taking place in the town at the time. The monitoring group, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, said today airstrikes by Russian warplanes on Daesh-held Syrian city of Raqqa killed 42 people earlier this week, including 27 civilians. 15 Daesh militants made up the remainder of the death toll. The British-based observatory said after a series of strikes on Tuesday that hit the group's Syrian stronghold. On the other hand, opposition fighters regained control of a village near Mork area west of Syria. The monitoring group also said opposition forces are achieving advances in Hama province at the time when the Syrian government military launching airstrikes in wider areas with the aim to regain them. Turkish police today detained some 20 people suspected of links to the Daesh group ahead of a G20 summit near the Mediterranean coastal city of Antalya. The suspects included 2 Russian nationals were detained in simultaneous raids in and around Antalya, which will be hosting US President Barack Obama and other G20 leaders later this month. Yesterday's authorities detained 40 Moroccans and 1 Syrian who flew into Istanbul from Casablanca over suspicion that they aimed to use the Turkish territory to cross into Syria to join the Daesh group. Turkey said it has banned 20,000 suspected foreign fighters from entering the country and deported more than 2,000 foreign militants. Arab coalition forces have sent military reinforcements to Yemen's Taz, where fierce battles have raged in recent weeks. Local sources said coalition planes shelled areas in Dabaa area. 9 people were killed and 21 others injured in clashes that raged between forces of the Popular Resistance Committee and Houthi Saleh forces. At least 58 people have died in a week-long flash flood across Iraq. The victims died of electrocution resulting from rain-related incidents in several parts of the country, including the capital Baghdad. Last week, torrential rainstorms struck several areas in Iraq, heavily damaging private and public buildings. People in several parts of the country were reportedly trapped in their houses after floodwaters mixed with sewage swamped the streets. Still to come in our news bulletin. Camels are given greater attention by the Royal Oman Police due to their role in participating in national and police ceremonies. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. With the participation of more than 30 female entrepreneurs, the program Competent Women was concluded. The program was held by the Female Entrepreneurs Committee at the Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry branch in the Wilaya of Sohar. The conclusion ceremony was presided over by Her Highness Sayyida Hujaija bint Jafar Al Saeed. The program seeks to encourage female entrepreneurs in the Governorate of North Batna to develop their commercial projects and encourage female job seekers to establish their own projects. It also included a number of training courses which included all aspects that qualify women leadership, financial management, marketing and customer services, in addition to get acquainted with facilities provided by concerned bodies for female entrepreneurs. The conclusion ceremony was also accompanied by an exhibition displaying a number of successful projects. In the Governorate of Al Wusta, the events of the first Media Coordinators Forum was held in education training centres in Al Dakam, with the efforts exerted by the Director of Education to refine skills of media education cadres in the School of the Governorates. 23 male and female media coordinators participated in the two-day forum, which included a number of topics and work papers, in addition to get acquainted with forums such as education forums, law and basics that are used in the current forum. Within the strategy of Al Roya newspaper to adopt initiatives and to encourage youths towards more giving and interaction with priorities and vital cases of society, the newspaper organised a seminar to introduce Al Roya Award for Youth Initiatives on its third edition on its last station in the Governorate of Musandam. The award included 8 fields. 3 of them are scientific fields: culture, literature, arts, voluntary works and society service. The award in this edition seeks to continue achieving positive revenues from the local societies and encourage youths to benefit from the initiative programs. Muscat Security Market, MSM, General Index recorded a loss of 9 points this week. The trading value exceeded 14 million Omani Riyals after the investors traded more than 57 million shares. The market witnessed a stable condition and registered an upward trend for companies in the third quarter as the global oil prices remain as the main index to gauge the market prices for the upcoming period. Since the establishment of the Camels Department in the Royal Oman Police, ROP, in 1984, its role was to preserve peace and keep the country safe, especially in the areas that are difficult to reach by vehicle. With the development witnessed by the Royal Oman Police in various fields, the role of the Camels Department was limited to participate in national and police ceremonies, namely the Oman Military Music Festival Tattoo, the ROP Annual Day, in addition to the camel races in the wilayas of the Sultanate. Latest weather charts and satellite images show that the tropical storm Meg over the middle of the Arabian Sea is located 13.7 north, 62.5 east, with wind speed estimated around the center 40 to 50 knots, 75 to 94 kilometers per hour, and 970 kilometers away from the Sultanate's coast. The analysis of the Multi-Hazard Early Warning Center indicate that the tropical storm Meg track will be far from the Oman coast and will continue to move west to the southwest towards the Gulf of Aden, with chances of intensifying to tropical cyclone in the next 24 hours, but with no direct impact along Oman's coast in the next 3 days. The northeast fresh winds is possible to cause rough sea conditions along the southeast coast, with wave heights reaching 3 to 5 meters. Meteorological specialists and the Public Authority for Civil Aviation continue to analyze and follow up the latest developments and advise to follow weather forecasts and reports issued about the situation. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Human Rights Council in Geneva praises the Sultanate's achievements in child rights field during the last 4 years. The Sultanate and Saudi Arabia review the current issues and development in the region. And experts in the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons determined that mustard gas is used by the Daesh group during battles in Syria. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.